Good morning and warm welcome to all the participants. Today we have the pleasure of having Dr. MS Akhter with us. Sir is Senior Scientist, ICAR-Directorate of Coldwater Fisheries Research. And the topic chosen for deliberation today is maturation and multiple breeding of endangered gold mahseer, a journey of technology development and commercialization. Sir, you're audible as well as visible, and your presentation is also visible. Please start, sir.
Hello. Should
Yeah,
I
you're audible,
start?
sir. Yeah, please start, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. As sir given my introduction, I am Mohammad Shabaz Akhter, working as a senior scientist in at the ICAR-Directorate of Coldwater Fisheries Research, Bhimtal, it is in Uttarakhand. So today I am going to talk on captive maturation and multiple breeding of endangered golden mahseer, and a journey of technology development and commercialization. Because in this area we have been working for last 7 and 8 years, and we have completely developed a technology package. So we will just I will just explain how we have started and we have completed till the development of this technology. So before that, I would like to give someone a brief description about the Mahseer resources and why it is important, and then what was the need to develop some technology. So if you see the Mahseer resources are actually the distribution is all along the central, eastern, and western Himalayan states. Not only in India, it is distributed in the Southeast Asian countries, right from Afghanistan, Bangladesh, China, Myanmar, Nepal, and Pakistan, and Thailand also. There are some species being found in Thailand. 2 species are found in Thailand. If you see the distribution in India, basically the maximum population of mahseer are located on the Himalayan region, starting from Jammu and Kashmir till Arunachal Pradesh, and especially the Torpiditira are more distributed. Their distribution is extended, starting in all the states, and some other species which are also mahseer, very important mahseer, but their distribution is not like the golden mahseer. In India, we have mahseers in peninsular India, the southern India also. We have mahseers in the mid India, central India, like Madhya Pradesh, and then some eastern part also, some Bangladesh, West Bengal, as well as Odisha and all. If you see the major species, I'm just giving in this slide most important major species of these mahseers. So the first and foremost is the Torpiditira. It is called golden mahseer, and then we have Tor. This is especially distributed in central India, as well as Tor Khudri. It is in central India and southern India, and Tor Mosal, northeast India, and we have Tor progenius. We have Najiri Tor, this Najiri chilenoides. Previously it was known as Tor chilenoides. Now its name has been changed to Najiri Tor chilenoides. And then we have Neolisochilus hexagonolipis, mostly distributed, mostly dominantly found in Nagaland. And then we have Neolisochilus hexaesticus. Other than this, there are many other species of mahseer that are found in India, and their taxonomy is always having some controversies. Their taxonomy is not complete. Always we have some of the species we just say some other species. So there is always a interplay between these species. If you see the mahseer rivers, especially the major rivers of different states in India, especially we can find in Arunachal Pradesh, there are rivers in Subansiri, then Pare, Kamen. These are the most important mahseer rivers. Usually we call it mahseer rivers, and where the angling and the sport fisheries are very dominant. And here we found Torpiditira, Neolisochilus species, and then we have Assam. There are 2 river systems, Jiaboreli and Manas. where angling is predominant. Then we have Nagaland, and Nagaland, there are many rivers in Nagaland. And then Sikkim, we have two river systems like Tista and Nangit, where this angling is very prominent. Then we have Meghalaya, as well as in Mizoram. And then Uttarakhand, especially Mahakali, Saryu, are the two rivers where this angling and ecotourism prospects are very prominent, especially with the Tor-Pitutura. And then we have in peninsular India, in southern India, we have Narmada, Kaveri, where Tor-Khudri is prominent. And some places we found this chocolate mahseer also. These are some of the rivers that in northeastern India where mahseer populations are very prominent. The mahseer population is usually found in the shallow waters, and where the river is very stream is very pristine, and we can find this mahseer population because they migrate for their breeding in those places. And the wild mahseers are very important. What is the importance of these mahseers? The socio-economic and environmental importance, if you see, it generates livelihood opportunities for local people, especially in Indian context. The angling, especially the angling, is more a hobby. It is the kind of hobby. Usually, the foreigners, the anglers from UK, especially in US, they used to come in India and they play with the mahseer. They catch it. They do this ecotourism, and with their foreign exchange, what they are spending their dollars, and with this we have these local peoples. They are having opportunities with associated business, as well as we have the benefits of psychophysical health benefits with nature, because people come watch fish, and mahseers are very fascinating, and then that's why the people come for this angling purpose. And if you see the economics, if you see the business of this angling, especially in the countries where the industrialization is high, there more than 10% people are engaged in recreational and sport fishing activities. They are very fond of it. And in some other countries which are very less industrialized, and it is growing very rapidly, like in India, it is growing. And the recreational fisheries generates, this is the estimate of 2019, World Bank 2012 had been reported by Pinder. The recreational fisheries generate US $190 billion in direct expenditures annually. So you can see the huge business involved in this recreational fisheries. So the people, that's why it is supporting this livelihood opportunities for the local people. So such a multi-billion-dollar business is there with this recreational fisheries. But what is causing the disturbance with us? The major issue is the threat is declining population, especially in India. In India, the mahseer population have declined. In almost all the species, population have been declined. If you see the IUCN status of this species, all are will be in either in endangered, will be in this near threatened, or will be in threatened. If you see the IUCN status, all the toad species or the mahseer species, all are near threatened or endangered or critically endangered. If you see IUCN status in 2018, 3 mahseers have still remain in endangered. The one is Deccan mahseer, it is Tor-Khudri, and then other species is Malabar mahseer, Tor malabaricus, it is also endangered, and then of course this Tor-Pitutura, it is endangered. It was endangered and still it is endangered. And then one Tor species is Tor Ramadevi, that is humpbacked mahseer. It is critically endangered. So all the mahseer populations in India are in endangered or in threatened states. That's why the government is giving more importance for its conservation. It's all the species. So with this importance of conservation to revive that angling or ecotourism prospects, there are 7 states which have declared their mahseer as their state fish, so that the conservation aspects, the conservation will be more effective, and the people and the awareness can be created, so that people will be aware, and their conservation, this people participation should be there, so that it can be conserved. If you see the 7 states, Arunachal Pradesh, Himachal Pradesh, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, and Jammu and Kashmir. These are the 4 states where Tor pituitora is considered as, is declared as a state fish. Whereas in Nagaland, the chocolate massive, Neolithocylus hexagonal is their state fish, and in Madhya Pradesh, the Tor is their state fish, and then Odisha it is Tor Mahanapicus. So we can see the importance of Mahseer and its conservation, and how the government is keen to conserve this species. So I will be talking mainly on golden Mahseer, because the golden Mahseer is because we have been working on golden Mahseer and the distribution of golden Mahseer, and the golden Mahseer is most important among all other Mahseer species in terms of their angling or ecotourism prospects, because golden Mahseer is called as king of game fish. The angling or the fighting ability of this fish is comparatively higher than all other Mahseer species. That's why the anglers, they are very, very fond of catching this golden Mahseer compared to chocolate Mahseer or other species, because golden Mahseer, their jumping ability, they jump like anything. And then this golden Mahseer has been the cultural icon of diverse economic, recreational, as well as conservational values in Asian nations. Not only in India, it is in Southeast Asian nations. In India, we can call it as a cultural heritage, because many of the temple ponds and all in India, the golden Mahseer is saved, it is conserved, because they think that it is their actually they worship it. It is having very, very, very importance for their that heritage value. And as I mentioned earlier, it supports livelihood of many, especially of the upland populations who are engaged in ecotourism and sport fishing activities. Then why? What was the hue and cry for this golden Mahseer? Because if you see, the golden Mahseer, the population has declined. It has declined sharply, and then it has been declared as a endangered species. So for declining, there are many reasons for its decline. We can categorize these regions in two categories. One is anthropogenic activities, like man-made the activities, and then other activities, the inherent quality, the inherent characteristics of the species itself. And the man-made problems are like habitat fragmentation, because in Himalayan states there are many hydroelectric projects, and which is creating the obstacles for their breeding migration, and hence the breeding is not taking place, as well as then other dynamite fishing and other illegal indiscriminate fishing. These all are the main reasons for the decline of the population. And another part is like golden Mahseer is having low fecundity. It's having very low fecundity, not like carps. The carps we are having fecundity around in lakhs, like rohu, katla. These are giving around 2 lakh, 3 lakhs per kg body weight. But in case of Mahseer, the fecundity is very less. Fecundity it goes around 4,000 to 8,000 per kg body weight. And the availability of Mahseer brooders are very less. And another problem we are having with the golden Mahseer is the skewed sex ratio. If you go in the wild, you find, if you catch around 50 fish, you will find only 10 fish as a female, and the rest will be on males. So the skewed sex ratio has also brought down its population in the wild. And then what is the alternate? What we can do for its stock enhancements? For the conservation, there are many aspects that we can conserve the species, like no fishing or fishing season, then mesh size regulation. So these are very the people participation, but at research level, we can produce large number of seeds in mass scale, so that these seeds can be stocked in the natural water bodies, so that this population can be enhanced. But for that, we need large scale seed production. So the large scale seed production was not available with this species. If you see the DCFR in our institute and some other institute in India, they were producing seeds and they are ranching. So this ranching and all in small quantity, this was in practice for last many decades. But their large-scale seed production was not possible because the availability of golden Mahseer brooders in wild condition was very less, and their maturity is not happening in captive conditions. When we catch them brooders from wild and keep in pond condition, but they do not mature. So far, what we have been doing, we were just catching in the in a spawning season. We just used to go to the lakes or in the rivers. We will collect the brooders which are mature. They are having ripened eggs. They will bring it in the hatchery, and then we'll strip it, and then we'll do the seed production, rest of the things. But getting these brooders was a huge, is very difficult. And also, wild collection is also a non-sustainable practice. What we used to do is, we were doing actually, that we were doing using this gill nets. We will put in the lakes and rivers, and then we'll catch. So what happens if you catch 20 or 30 Mahseer brooders, we will get only 2 or 3, and rest of them we cannot save them. That will be they will die. And the brooders, what we will be stripping, they will also die. So it was a non-sustainable, highly non-sustainable practice, and getting brooders was highly difficult, very difficult. And this is, if you see the timeline, means the efforts of captive breeding of golden Mahseer in India, it is not like that we have just given our efforts in recently. So the captive maturation, the program for golden Mahseer has been in work since 1970s. If you see 1970s and 80s, Sehgal and Tripathi, Pathani and Das, those were the researchers. They have tried. What they did, they were doing this hypophysation for getting this captive spawning. But what happened? They failed it. They could not succeed. Then in 1980s and 90s, then Sehgal, then Pandey et al., these were they tried the induced breeding with this GNRH, or over time is overfeeding, but still they got a very limited success, or because they spawned it, but their fertilization and all, it was not successful, so they failed it. And then came in 2000s, the millennium estate. Then we had some researchers like Ogle, he is in Tata Powers, and then Joshi in Uttarakhand, and then Gurung et al. These were the researchers in Nepal and all. So they tried. What they tried, they just stocked the brooders in a huge, large, 5 hectares, 6 hectares of small lakes where the water is flowing. And then there they were getting some of the brooders getting matured. So the maturity, if you see the frequency of mature brooders, it was having only 2 to 8%. So maintaining a huge water resources, and with this less quantity of less number of mature brooders was a huge task, and still the seed production was very less. Then, and in our directorate, in our institute also, we were doing this wild collection, and then with the seed production. So in 1 year, we will be able to produce only 30,000, 40,000 of flies, or maximum 60,000 of flies. So it was not sufficient to do for stock enhancement or ranching programs. Then in 2014, we started, actually then I joined in this directorate, and then we started from in 2014 to see why it is not maturing in captive conditions. So then we started our efforts. So at that time, we were not having anything regarding the reproductive physiology of golden Mahseer, because if you want to do some this breeding program, then you must know some of the physiology of reproductive physiology of any species, and why it was getting failure in gonadal maturation in captive conditions. Nothing was known. Then what we did? Then we attempted our research program. So the research program we attempted, it took around 7 to 8 years to complete it, and each attempt was we were getting something, and that we were employing with the second attempt and then third attempt. So it was a sequential approach. And if you can divide the phase, we can divide our efforts in 2 phases. In phase 1, we were addressing the maturation in captive conditions, and in the second phase, once we achieved the maturation, then the second phase we are addressing the spawning. And the details I will be talking in the next slides. There were a series of experiments. These are 6 experiments, are the major experiments. All were having around 4 months or 6 months of duration. And apart from that, we have done, there are several small experiments and standardizations of the protocols. In our first approach, what we did, we have just profiled the reproductive profiling of the captive females, what we were rearing in the pond condition, and we collected the wild brooders, and we have seen the all endocrine parameters, stress parameters, all hormones and everything we have profiled. And what we found the impaired vitellogenesis with lower level of luteinizing hormone and prevailing oxidative stress. If somebody wants to know the details about how we have done it, they can read this paper, our published paper in Animal Reproduction Science. I can, otherwise, if somebody asks, I can provide the reprint. I can send the PDF. So the first experiment, we came to know that it is not maturing because of impaired vitellogenesis as well as low LH levels and oxidative stress. Then what we did in the second second experiments, we tried because a photoperiod manipulation. Because photoperiod manipulation has been tried in several species across ichthyosters, and they have got the maturity inducing effect. So we also tried. And at the same time, because in the pond condition, the brooders were getting that oxidative stress, so we formulated a diet containing all stress mitigating compounds. So that diet we have been given, and then we were just induced with the photoperiod. The photoperiod we have taken some illumination around 1400 lux intensity, and then we tried it. And after 4 months, 4 months of experiment we conducted, and then we assessed, after the experiment, we have assessed all the reproductive hormones, all histology, aromatase, which is responsible for synthesis of that E2, means estradiol, then vitellogenin, then maturation inducing hormone, then stress biomarkers, gonadal histology, everything we have done. And then what we have found, the shorter photoperiod was comparatively unfavorable, and the treatment where we have been giving this 12-hour light and 12-hour dark photoperiod with 1400 lux of light intensity was found optimum, and which has given some extent of maturity, not in the form of phenotype like gonad has been developed. We didn't find any gonad was developed, but the maturation inducing hormones as well as estradiol levels were increased. So we had taken this photoperiod, 12-hour light and 12-hour dark period with the 1400 lux light for our subsequent experiments. So if somebody wants the more details how we have conducted these experiments, they can read these papers, these 2 papers in aquaculture. And then our third experiment was effect of temperature on gonadal maturity of golden Mahseer. Because we have seen the photoperiod, and then what we have done in this experiment, we had taken 2 temperatures. One was ambient, we kept in ambient. It ranged between 18 to 24, and then we had given some elevated temperature. It was 22 to 26 degrees Celsius. Average, means the range. Average was 23 or 24 degrees Celsius. Then photoperiod was maintained, because what we have found, in the previous experiment, it was 12-hour light and 12-hour dark period with 1400 lux. And this time we have conducted the experiment for 130 days, 4 months, 10 days. And we have given the same diet, brooder diet. And then at last, after the experiments is over, then we have assessed the same similarly with the all reproductive hormones, aromatase, vitellogenin, maturation inducing hormone, all stress biomarkers, histology, and everything. So to our surprise, what we found, elevated temperature induced maturity in captivity. You can see the photographs. Ambient temperature, the gonads were very incipient, no gonads were seen, and in elevated temperature we had found the fish with full of gonads. But what happened? We did not get any spawnings, or we cannot do stripping, so that we can get the eggs, or we do the spawning, we do the fertilization and all. So because the low LH level were still there, and there were impaired final oocyte maturation. Because if there is no final oocyte maturation, the ovulation will not take place due to low LH levels. So far, at least we have, with this temperature and photoperiod manipulation, we have got the maturity level in the captive conditions. So the more details we can find in these papers. And then what we did, we found that okay, maturity has done, has been induced. Then the problem was the spawning, means auto spawning or stripping. So that what we have done, we did the substratum manipulation, and the water quality we had kept just like in the stream conditions. We had used some biofilters and some pumps, so that the water turnover will be there, water will be moving inside the tank, and the substratum with the river gravels. What is actually we simulated the conditions with the streams of the rivers. And then the same photoperiod, then same light and temperature, what we have found for the earlier experiments, we had kept it. And the internal water turnover, we had kept it 3,200 liter per hour. And in this, we did not find any ammonia. And if you do this biofiltration on this gravel system and substratum, you will find the crystal clear water. And we were just monitoring. We had only 2 tanks. We were just monitoring. So after 4 months of rearing, one day when we were just extending the water, we found that there are some fry of golden Mahseer were found inside the tank itself. We did not know when it was, when it spawned. So the fry were in some advanced conditions. It means it has spawned in the tank itself, and the tank was sustaining those fries. And then again we have tried some overtite with that, and then we found the next day we found the brooding. But the same overtime we had given the same brooders without the substratum, some other times with no substratum, no gravels, but we did not find any spawning. So again spawning was happening and happening and happening and happening, and without any GNRS or any injection. So we observed around 11 spawnings in 12 months. So almost 20 days, 25 days, 30 days, we were just observing these spawnings. So this repeated spawnings was very irritating, and to retrieve those eggs from the gravels, it was very difficult, because the gravel, the biofilter will be having at the bottom, and they will be sucking the water. And the nature of the egg of the golden Mahseer is demersal. So it gets trapped in those crevices inside the gravel, and their retrieval of egg was a huge problem. It was a huge problem. So then our main focus was to how we will make the egg retrieval very effective, so that more fecundity we can get it. If you see egg retrieval with these spawnings in the tank itself with the gravel, we will be retrieving only 100 or 200 or 500 eggs, but that is not going to serve the purpose. Then we thought we will use some muslin cloth, is 1 mm mesh size muslin cloth, to address the egg retrieval system. Then what we found, we reared this with the muslin cloth, but we did not find any spawning. Even after injecting GNRH, nothing was happening. So the fishes were not spawning. Then what to do? Then what we had tried in experiment sheets, we had done this co-rearing system. First 4 months, because it takes 3 to 4 months to get matured in captive conditions in our system. And after this 4 months, we will be separating the males and females to different tanks. And then we'll see this behavioral activities. So the behavioral activities is splashing of gravels. If you find some splashing of gravels, then it means that the females are about to spawn. So with this, sex segregation, we were just getting this eggs, large number of eggs. From one female, we're getting 7,000, 9,000, 10,000, means repeated number of eggs. And in our core rearing, the male-female ratio we used 2:1, means 2 female and 1 male for 3 to 4 months. Then we segregate it, and after this behavioral observation, we do the stripping. And with this, we have stripped more number of things, many number of eggs, with large number of eggs, and we could produce large number of seeds. And with this condition, we were finding 65 to 72% of females are responding. It means 72%, 70% of females what you keep for this captive maturation will be maturing and will be giving you, they will be spawning on, it will be stripping ready. And the fertilization rate what we have got so far till our several strippings, it is ranked between 82 to 87%, and hatching rate is 75 to 85%, and survival of the fry till 75 dph days post hatching is around 90%, till 90%, even more than 90% we have received this year. And if you see the average annual egg stripping of each female, because it's the multiple breeding, each female we can breed in a year, it is 2 to 3 times. And the relative fecundity we have also found higher, it is around 9.6, means 9,000 to 10,000 eggs per kg body weight. And the most important thing is breeding events what we have observed, it is around the year, means every month we are finding this breeding, we are stripping the eggs. Now there is no dearth of only thing we have to make a brooder bank, and we can produce large number of seeds every month, and every month we are producing seeds. Now our hatchery activity is around the year, and except January, February, because we have to maintain the temperature to 25 degrees Celsius, and with this thermostat heaters, it is not possible, because in the winter season, especially in Coldwater area in Bhimtal, in winter season the temperature goes down to 10 degree or 8 degrees Celsius, and to maintain it in 25 degrees Celsius, it was very difficult. So with these temperature fluctuations, we could not observe this spawning events in January and February. Otherwise, if you maintain temperature, you can find the breeding, you can observe the breeding, and then some of the details can be found in this paper. And if you see our journey, so we started with understanding why there is a reported dysfunction in captivity. Then we sorted out that. Then we tried photoperiod manipulation. Then again we had some success. Then we tried thermal manipulation. Then we substratum manipulation, and then the co-rearing. And there are many other small sterilizations like muslin cloth, and then milk required for maximum fertilization and incubation period. And then we have designed our nursery rearing system for more survival, as well as there are many, the installation of the system. So so far the success has come in the form of, we have made in the form of a technology, and we call it as captive maturation and multiple breeding technology of golden Mahseer. So the first figure you can see here, it is the maturation tank, and the technology mainly involves 2 things. One is method, and another is system. So method and system. So the system we had, you see, the technology having method and system. The system we having good stock maturation system, hatching system, then nursery rearing system, and then method already you have seen. Photothermal manipulation, good stock diet, breeding substratum, sex segregation, and behavioral monitoring. How we will be doing everything is mentioned in our technology. And the brood stock maturation system, you see, the system what we have developed is, it is a specific shape and dimension. It has having a predefined shape and dimension. We had photothermal manipulation regulation, then artificial breeding ground with predefined, because the gravels we are using is having different composition. At what ratio you will be using, which size of gravels and which thickness, and then arrangement of water ripplings, then provision of a specific number of water turnover. And then we have hatching system. It is also having a specific dimension. It has a temperature regulation. It has predefined water flow to avoid ammonia buildup, and it accommodates a specific number of egg incubators of predefined dimensions. So all those dimensions and designs I am not showing you because it is patent pending. and then provision of water column adjustment mechanism. It is there in our hedging system. And then we have nursery rearing system, is also having specific dimensions. It has also temperature regulation, then grazing ground of predefined thickness and composition, provision of water column adjustment mechanism, provision of a specific number of turnover, water turnover. All these mechanisms are there in that system. Then method already I have already discussed that it includes board stop pour earing for a specific duration, sex segregation, maturation inducing feed. The feed what we are giving is maturation inducing. Without that, you won't get the maturation or the spawning. And then stripping of responding females. With the stripping also we are doing in different method we are using. Then fertilization, that the mixing of specific quantity of milk with a specific number of eggs. Because if you use more number of more quantity of milk, your fertilization will be less. So we have standardized all those things. And incubation of eggs in predetermined temperature in a predetermined incubator. So incubators, the mesh size, it is already defined. And then rearing of spawn in a specific nursery rearing system. So these all are there in all the designs and everything are there. It is all in patent pending. We have applied the patent. It is under examination. And with this IPR production, already told that patent application number this, and the patent title is System for Year-Round Repeated Breeding and High Fry Production of Golden Mahseer. It has been filed, and we are waiting for this first examination report. And we have also filed an trademark application. And finally, we had already commercialized it. The technology has been commercialized with Dasan Kumar's Varanasi through ICAR-Agri-Innovate. Because first we have submitted the technology to ICAR, and ICAR has evaluated it. And with the help of Agri-Innovate, Agri-Innovate, we had commercialized with Dasan Kumar. And we had given for non-exclusive license for 7 years. It is around 3.75 lakh license fee with 18% GST for 7 years. And as well as every unit, the system, for every unit, sale of every unit, they will be providing to our institute 50,000 rupees. And then tripartite MOU was signed on 23 April this year only. And this news has come also in ICR website. Apart from that, we have been using this conservation aspect, because if you don't do conservation, then the purpose is not solved. So for conservation, we are doing this ranching and seed distribution. We are doing ranching in different lakes and rivers, and with angler associations also are involved with us. And then we are doing the seed distribution to fisheries departments. They take seed from us, and they are doing their ranching program for their state fisheries departments. They are all mandate or objectives they are fulfilling. We have done these ranching programs, Kosi River, Nainital Lake. These are the photographs. And as far as this training and demonstrations, we are also giving training to the state fisheries department officers, and as well as demonstrations, so that they can learn and they can start their own hatchery at the department level, so that the seed production can be multiplied and Mahseer can be conserved. So I would like to acknowledge our directors, because there are 3 directors involved. We had started our work with this Dr. A.K. Singh, and then again Director Acting Dr. Devaji Sharma, and then now new director have joined, Dr. Commercialization Pandey, where this commercialization happened. So I would like to thank all our 3 directors to complete our journey, and my research team, as well as the contractual staffs who have done their tireless job to complete those experiments for last 7 years. And thank you very much. And I would like to thank the organizers of this refresher course for giving me opportunity to present my work before you people. Thank you. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir. Now, if there are any questions from the participants, we have few minutes. We can ask them in chat or on microphone.
Any clarification? Any question, please?
Any questions? Participants, if you have any questions, please type it in chat or you can ask sir directly.
Ma'am, are there any questions in the chat itself? Ma'am, are there any questions in the chat?
No, sir. There are no questions. Any questions?
If not questions, you can interact with the esteemed guest. You're open to interact or even query or anything you want to share. Please do.
Sir, good morning. I am
Good morning.
Muruganandam from Tamil Nadu, TNJFU. Your presentation was very nice, useful, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Someone else wants to interact? You can turn on your camera, you can turn on your microphone, you can interact. Please interact if you want to. Mostly thank yous are coming in. Akanti Khati.
Akansha Khati.
Sorry, Akansha Kanti.
Akansha Khati.
Yeah, she's
Thank you,
thanking.
Yeah, thank you, madam. Thank you. Akansha madam already has taken the training in our institute.
Okay,
I know
cool.
her.
So it's an acquaintance. Yeah, ma'am, please go speak up.
Good morning, sir. It was very informative as usual. We have met before, and it was very nice to hear you again, sir.
Okay, thank you, madam. Thank you.
Anybody else who wants to interact, please do. If there are no questions or interactions, then we can consider the session to be over. Are there any further interactions from any participants who wants to interact or ask any question or query or share some experience? Anything? Otherwise, we can consider the session to conclude. I don't think there are any further questions. Mostly thank yous have come, sir. It was
Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
On behalf of the participants and on behalf of the organizing committee, I would want to extend our heartfelt gratitude to you for your presence, for your presentation and the interaction. Thank you, sir. It was lovely to have you.